based at 0.5%. Also, we'll get the thought on the Eurozone also from our finance expert, Roddy Cohn, who's with me right now. Hello there, Roddy.
Hello, Phil. How are you?
Very good indeed. We'll talk about the interest rates and then we'll mention the Eurozone, if that's okay with you. But given the fact we've been speaking about 30 months about the same thing, no surprise today, it's exactly the same. It's, as it were, 0.5%.
Yeah, I mean, and that is good news for listeners, you know. It means that if
even though Europe's crumbling and imploding on itself.
Well, I mean,
it's almost irrelevant what our interest rates are now, does it?
Did you work with the Vikings or something, pouring oil on stuff over the castle walls? Because, of course, I think you could see a lot of doom and gloom, and there is undoubtedly some very serious financial issues going on in Europe that do need to be resolved and aren't going to be resolved painlessly or easily. Nonetheless, in the UK, keeping interest rates down is going to help businesses carry on trading through a difficult period. If they see a bit of demand slacking off from European consumers for their products or services, then obviously having low interest rates will help them keep their own businesses financed. So in that sense, Phil, there is some good news there. And then for mortgage owners, clearly, if you've got a variable rate, the last thing you probably want is for interest rates to go up for any time for another 30 months if you could get away with it.
Okay,
you're not used to me being this upbeat, are you, Phil? I can tell I've stormed you.
Well, you know, I suppose I've been I've joined in the doom and gloom with the Eurozone, because the thing is really that will have an effect, and it's almost irrelevant what we're doing here, because right on our doorstep, our biggest trading partner is a right old mess. So if you are a company that exports, especially to Europe, it doesn't matter what the heck the Bank of England's doing. You're looking at this and going, hang on a second, I'm in trouble here. I could be in trouble here.
Yeah, I don't think you can ignore the severity, if you like, of the issue and its potential effects on our economy or on businesses that, as you quite rightly say, trade a good deal with Europe. Nonetheless, there are, to some degree, a lot of these things are outside any of our control. It's down to the politicians, particularly in Europe, as David Cameron's already said, to act swiftly and effectively. The problem is that getting that union, if you like, from European politicians isn't as straightforward as everybody might think it is. There are lots of countries involved, lots of different agendas, no doubt, and equally lots of complex issues about who's lent what money to whom, on what terms, and what are the chances of getting it back. So it is really like a Rubik's Cube. You keep twisting it, you don't seem to get any nearer the solution.
All right, and inflation, I mean, given the fact that we've got really low interest rates, we've got very high inflation, there's no change in the interest rates. Inflation, will that change, do you think?
I think in some ways it could, because as the euro comes under increasing pressure, that means one of the ways forward would be for the euro to weaken, and that could mean for some businesses selling holidays, for example, to people going to Europe would help to act as an economic stimulus. But when we talk about inflation in terms of what we import, I guess in the short term, I wouldn't expect there to be any changes there at all. Most of what we experience as inflation, as far as listeners are concerned, is to do with things, ordinary things like utility bills. And I'm not saying that that won't have any effect, what's going on in Europe, but clearly a lot of those are already priced in. A lot of these issues are already priced in from the announcements from, gas and electricity companies.
I promise in December when we have the conversation, I'll be a bit more upbeat, because if nothing else, Father Christmas will be on the way. So that will get me in the mood for being a bit more cheery. But I don't know. You're the happy one, you're the upbeat one, and I'm just feeling a bit doom and gloom. I'm sorry. That's what I'll say.
It's difficult, isn't it, Phil, at times like this, when it's been like this for so long. It's almost as if, I think when somebody once described this in 2008, the economic crisis, as watching a car crash in slow motion. And to some extent, I think that was a good analogy of how difficult and complex these issues are. At the same time, every cloud does have a silver lining. And as I've said, for many mortgage owners and homeowners, it's a good job interest rates are staying down, because with all those other inflationary increases that we've talked about, the last thing you want now, given that for most people listening to this programme, their loans, their home loans, are a big part of their monthly expenditure, and you don't want that to be going up before Christmas.
Good point, well made, Roddy. You have a good one. Thank you. I'm glad you're there. You've cheered me up.
BBC Radio Berkshire.
Travel you trust.
Every 15 minutes.